Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Board Game Specialists. I'm Carla.
And I'm Melanie.
And we are on episode 71. And today we are talking about our top 9 games that play in under 15 minutes. Now, I know there's a ton of those type of games, but this list for me was pretty easy. I had about maybe 30 that I had chosen from. What about you, Mel? Did you find
Yeah, I
this
was
one?
about that range as well for 30. Question for you though. When do you pull out your 15 minutes or less games? Like, where do that fit in your hobby?
Those usually, we pull those out at the end of the night when it's like with a game, like a group of gamers. But I never start with those games. I know some people say, oh, you can start with those if you're waiting for people to come. But
Yeah.
I usually have them arrive with a game set up, like a heavier game. And then that's kind of the end of the night. But with my family, they do come out quite more often because they prefer those. There's less commitment for them to play long. But then I can kind of get a few of those games in. So
yeah,
I really do love the quick games too, though. I mean, I love my heavy games. I love my hour-long games. But these ones, I mean, we both, you and I, love the card games, like the quick card games. But I like the dice and card and tile, like all of it. So what about you? When did they come out for you?
You know, like at one point we were getting into the habit of whenever we'd go to a restaurant, we'd bring a small game. So then you order your food, then you can play until your food shows up. So those have to be fairly quick games. Those would show up there. Like at Melcon that I had just a few weekends ago, we started off with a short game as people are still all arriving. And because it was like some would be a little later. So while people arriving, they would play a couple of rounds of smaller games. I kind of agree with you. At the end of the game, like, okay, well, we have a little bit of time. What else do we want to play? And then, like, as a palate cleanser between big games.
Oh, yeah, so that's a good idea, too.
Okay, that one was big. Let's play something simple or easier or shorter to kind of... And then, okay, let's pick the next big game. So I've seen it used that way. And then, of course, like you're saying, like with family and that sort of stuff. So depending on the group you're playing with, like especially with non-gamers... these type are easy to kind of get to the table and get a few. So for a game night with people that aren't really gamers, these would be like the ones I would play.
Yeah. And conventions are a good time, like in between a couple heavy games. You've played 2 or 3. You need to give your brain a little bit of break and just have some fun and not have to think so much. But no, that's exactly it. Okay, well, what have you been playing lately?
So, Roxley Games contacted me a little while ago and said, "Hey, Melanie, can we count on you to help us at the booth for Gamecon?" And I was like, "Sure." What's Gamecon? So I hadn't heard of Gamecon before, and that's because it's the very first Gamecon Canada convention that they held in Calgary. And I mean, this event was big, and like I love FallCon. I love FallCon. That's still my favorite event. But FallCon is like everybody kind of gathers. There's a bunch of games being taught. There's a bunch of tables set up, and you go to play games, which is great. That's what I want to be able to do. Sit down, play games. This one had a very
convention.
It is a strict board game convention. Yeah, like and then you have like the auctions. You have like a few things you can sign up to learn different like games that are being taught. But it's all about going to play board games, which is what I want to go to FallCon for, to go and play board games. Gamecon was more about the exhibitors. So they had FallCon there, they had Calgary YYC there, so there was definitely tables available and board game libraries available to play board games. This one here had a lot of board games, a lot of Warhammer, and then a lot of video game as well. But it was like more an exhibitors convention, so you had lots of different booths. I was working the Roxley booth, and then we were teaching how to play Dice Throne and Santorini and Radland. And then they had Skyrise there, the newest Kickstarter that's about to come. And it's funny, like you show me the retail version and the deluxe version, and it's like...
You got the deluxe, right?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I got the deluxe coming, and it looks amazing. And then what they had there, apparently they've upgraded further, so it's even better than what they had on display there.
Wow.
And I was like, oh yeah, because you're getting so many complaints. Like, it's an amazing looking game, and apparently there's been more improvement to it since the Kickstarter. So I'm super excited to see what comes. And it was super neat because Nate Chatelier and what's his Tremblay? What's his name? What is it? Oh, Manny Tremblay was there, the designers of Dice Throne. So it's kind of like, oh my god, let me take a selfie. It was like, it was just so cool. Gavin Brown was there as well, which is also one of the designers for the Dice Throne Season 1 and Season 2. And the Marvel one. And then Gordon was there, the designer of Santorini. And then they had the new Santorini there as well, which looks amazing. Because you got the Santorini, and then they have like a book that makes it a co-op campaign. And so it looks super cool. And yeah, so Gord was there as well. It was just a neat event. But anyway, so the whole time I was there, I was teaching Dice Throne. I got to play Dice Throne one time when I was teaching it, because most of the time there was 2 people and they would play each other, and I would just kind of help them along. Then this one time I got to play, and I crushed him.
And how was Roxley with that?
Don't you love this game? Don't you want to get? Yeah. And I mean, it was great. Like at the end there, people would be like, "Okay, I want this game," and they had sold out of all the battle chests. So the Season 1, the Season 2, and the Marvel battle chests were gone. Then Adventure, Dice Throne Adventure was sold out as well. They were still like Roxley was great. They were still selling it. Says, "Okay, we can still sell it to you, and we'll ship it to you, no fees." So no charge for the shipping. So that was really nice. And then they had like because you can buy Dice Throne like as a 2-character set. So they had a few of those, but I think eventually they sold out of that too. So nice. It did really well because Nate and Manny and Gavin and a bunch of other people, I think, went on the stage and they played Dice Throne on the stage, and it was so cool. And a bunch of people afterward came to the booth and was like, "You gotta show me this game." Like, so yeah, it was really neat. So I played that. Then I played Mexica. I've had Mexica for a while. I had been wanting to play it. I have Tikal as well, which I still haven't played. But I have Tikal First Edition, Mexica Second Edition, so my box don't match. It really bugs me.
Oh no!
So eventually I'm gonna have to upgrade my Tikal. I haven't come across.
Third in that series.
There is a third that I don't have. I don't know what it's called. But so I played the Mexica. And actually, it's funny because I opened Mexica. I set it up. Okay, first of all, component. Oh my god. These are gorgeous. Like, it looks like they're going to be little, I don't know, terracotta, like, feel like a ceramic feel. But I think they're plasticky, but they look like ceramic. Little temples, and you have different level ones. This is an area control game. Like, you will build canals to break down the land, and then you have these tiles that have like a requirement. So it needs to be like an area of 9 tiles. So then you're placing these canals, trying to create a cluster of 9, and then you can put that token on it, and whoever kind of creates and claims that location puts the token, gets the first sets of score on it. But then it's going to score at the end of the first round and at the end of the second round, and you need to build temples, and whoever has like the most interest in those different segments has like the most value of temples, basically, because there's a value of temple 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can add multiple 1s, right? So you could have 2 1s and 1 3, so you have an interest of 5 in that particular area. But like each turn you get 6 action points, and depending on the action you do, how much it costs in action points, and then you take turn going back and forth creating these clusters and trying to take ownership. And then like the second round, I just went to the clusters that are already there that I didn't have the most interest in and just started putting temples in those. And Lee was like, "Oh, I see what you're doing there." And he's like trying to go and do the same thing to the other ones that I had, because okay, well, I see you got a 13, so it's going to score 13. Unless I go and I put a temple, then I take the lead there. Then I would get that 13. Anyways, I lost by 3 points. But it was good. It's such a neat game. Have you played this one?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
Ortical.
yeah, it's neat. I really, really liked it. So that was Mexica. How about you? What have you played lately?
Well, before I talk about that, you have to talk about one more game you played.
Oh,
That I really like. A bunch of those right now. I just wanted to hear what you
oh,
had
the
to
cold
say
case
about
one.
it. Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so good. Okay, so I have seen the cold case one at Walmart. There's was the one there, and then I'd be like, I don't know. Like you can never tell at Walmart. Is this actually a good game, or is it like?
Oh, Walmart is the unsolved case file one. Is that
Oh, that's different, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
but they're
so
similar. They're very similar.
oh, okay, so that's kind of what I thought it was, and then I found this one at a discount store. And it was for $8. I was like, okay, I will try this one.
Yeah.
And then I took it home. It was my birthday, so I kind of treated myself. I got a bunch of new games and bunch of new games coming. So I opened it. Oh, it was our birthday, actually, because we have the same birthday.
That's right.
So, yeah, happy birthday to us. So I opened it, and it's a file folder. So I was like, okay. And then you open it further, and then there's newspaper clipping in there, and there's, like, pictures of the crime scene in there, and then you have like the transcript of how the interrogation has gone, along with a picture stapled to like the whole thing, and it's all in the file folder. Like, but it's so freaking thematic. Like, this is a cold case. Here's the file. Like, I stopped and took a video of it. I was like, oh my god. I'm like so impressed with it. And then you kind of go through read all the different interviews, you review all the information about the case, and then it tells you, like, there's a letter at front, like, here's what we need to figure out, like, who did it, how did it get there, how did they leave, and there was money missing, what was the money used for, like, so we kind of go through the entire case, and afterwards you go online, and you enter your questions, and you can kind of see how you did, and actually I ended up doing pretty good, but I was like, oh my god, I need more. It's like, I need more of these.
They're very addicting, yeah.
It was so neat.
I've probably done about 100 of them now. And I have a bunch to do still, but yeah, I'll have to lend you some of mine.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, it made me go and download it's like Tiny Room app or something where you gotta figure out, like, as a phone app, like, figure out how you make it through the room and stuff. So, but yeah, I was like, okay, I need more. And I was like, maybe I should buy it. I was like, okay, wait, I have Sherlock Holmes Consultant Detective here right now. I was like, I'll just do that. I'll start going through those, and
they're similar.
Yeah,
I find those really hard. These ones feel more realistic in our time because it's, I think, like, totally stuff that can happen and you can relate more to it. But I do still like those too.
But yeah, no,
but the ones at Walmart are good. They're a little bit harder than that one.
Oh, okay,
step up.
Yeah,
but they're really good too. They're all
I was like,
good. I haven't. Really
I don't know. Is it any good? What is it gonna be like? So I had held back with the Walmart one, and then I was like, when I saw it, like, okay, that price, I'm going to try it. But yeah, it was just, to me, it was like the whole package. How you have like the interview with the picture of the person they're interviewing stapled to the side, and I was like, this looks so incredibly thematic. And then you had like, oh, so-and-so did a statement, so you have the statement in there, and there's the autopsy report was in there. Like, it was, oh my god, I was impressed. It looks very real. Like, you really feel like a detective having to figure it out. Yeah, it's really cool. Well, on that note, I actually bought a board game called Case File, Truth and Deception. How is that? I saw it.
I seen this one coming out, and I saw it on Board Game Bliss and kind of on Amazon. And then all of a sudden on Amazon, it was on sale for like $20. And I'm like, and it's brand new. And I'm like, what? That's weird. Maybe it's not right good. Now. But I'm like, yeah, see what it is now. It started at like 35, and then it was more there than on Board Game Bliss. But anyway, so I'm like, I'm just going to give it a try. If not, it's brand new. I could sell it, for a decent price. And I knew it was just a deduction game. It's not like you're doing case files like the one you just talked about. It's strictly like a deduction game, but it's pretty neat. We played it as a 3-player, like with my game group, and then I played it with my family, and my family absolutely loves it. And what you do is you have these boards in front of you, and you are trying to figure out the motive, the location, the person, and the weapon. So you have these columns of all those different things. So everybody has one of these fold out cards where they flip up and you can't see what everybody's writing on. And then you have this deck of cards. So you're going to, just like Clue, sort them all out into categories, shuffle them and pull one from each and then stick it in this little file folder. Shuffle up all the cards and then you each get a hand of 5 cards. So on your turn, well, first of all, the cards you have, you're going to check off, just like in any kind of deduction that, game. You already have them in your hand, so they're not in the folder. Those are not the evidence that was needed for the crime. So then you can ask on your turn about 3 different things on the board. 3 of anything. You could ask all 3 different types of people or 3 completely different things. If anybody has those things, they can tell you, okay, I have 3 points worth, because each card on it will have a 1, a 2, or a 3. So they could say, I have 3 points worth, and you would have to trade them back. Now that's a similar thing to Awkward Guess. I believe that's what you had to do. Same kind of thing. Like I have 4 point value, and then they would have to trade you 4 points back. But in this one, there's also some false evidence that is shuffled into those cards. And those, most of them are just like trash cards. But if somebody asks for something and you have it, you can give them that plus a false evidence. So I could say I have 4 value. They trade you something with 4 and you give them one of the right things and a false evidence. So they're stuck with that card now and you have new evidence. Although they could have given you false evidence too. But on some of those false evidence cards, it'll let you, instead of doing a turn, you can put your whole hand down and grab 5 new cards. You can make all the detectives trade cards, like, counterclockwise or clockwise. You can actually, there's one that you switch boards. So it could be like near the end of the game and you don't have anything and somebody's all smug going, oh, I'm so close to it. You switch boards with them, which I did. It was so funny. I did this with Cherry because she takes really good notes. And I grabbed her board and I'm like, what the hell is this? She put it all in code. Like, she didn't even know that was a card. I didn't know it was a card either, but I'm like, she goes, can you read that? I'm like, no. She goes, I put it in code. I'm like, what the heck? So I kind of figured out some of it, but anyway, with my kids, I did it one time and I was thinking, I think I opened my mouth and was like, oh, I'm close. And then I'm like, oh, someone's going to have that card and they're going to steal my board. So I quickly marked all of the ones, like changed up the board to totally mess them up in case they stole my board, but they didn't end up doing it. But it's so fun because then once you get to the end of the round, the main person has to roll a dice and whatever evidence shows, you have to show everybody that evidence. So then everyone can see it and then you draw up or down to 5 cards. So it takes a little while to get, to deduct like what it could be down to, but you're kind of all near around the same point at the end where you're close. And if you choose to guess it, then you circle one of each thing and you say it out loud what you think it was. You grab the folder and look, and if you're right, you win. If you're not, you just close it back up and don't tell them which one was wrong. And then you're out of the game. Right. But it's like a real simple, I would say like Sherlock 13, maybe ramped up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's like,
but when you can play again.
Game. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you just shuffle up the cards, and the false evidence gives you a bit of fun because you can make somebody not be able to trade. So if you know somebody's really close, you can play this card, and it says, "Oh, you don't allow that trade," and then it'll take 3 turns for them to get back. Because then they might have guessed next time. At least I have one more round to figure it out. But we liked it. It was fun. Another one that I played was, now this one's not really an escape game, but it's in kind of that genre. It's called Echoes. Now it's kind of Echoes. They made these games, now I'm not sure who the designer was, but kind of like in the same realm as, Unlocks and all those things. The only thing is it's an audio one.
Oh, right.
So remember when Matthew was telling us he wants us to do this audio? Well, there is this little series out. This isn't the one he's doing, but so I'm like, I really want to try one of these. Well, Cherry had one, so we tried it. So you have to use an app, and it's just cards, and you have to figure out the order of all these cards and the chapters for them. So you listen, you can like scan each card, and then it'll give you like, someone will talk and say something, and then you're like, okay, and then you scan a few other cards, and then you're like, oh, okay, I think this goes after this one goes before that, and this one is the beginning of the chapter. So once you think you've figured out each chapter, because there's 3 cards in each chapter, you'll scan them to see if you're right, and it'll tell you, no, okay, you got those 2 right, they're in the right chapter, but in the wrong order. So kind of like a mastermind thing, but it was really cool because ours was called Cocktail. So it was all about this bar, like this, noir, what do they call that? Where they were...
Chronicles of Crime?
Yeah, kind of. And then there was like a heist coming, and they had to all run from the bar, and someone was, planting these things and trying to capture... she said, like, the bartender sent out someone to do all this nasty work, and so you had to put these all in order, and it was really cool. I love that kind of stuff in puzzle games when you have to order things out. Mm-hmm. And listen. You have to listen carefully, because sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't hear that, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, the music from that one was the same in this one, so these are definitely together.
Oh,
is it first or second? But
I wonder if I would be any good at that. That just sounds harder.
No, I think you would be really good at it. Like, yeah, it's...
I should point out I'm half deaf half the time.
Oh. You just can't play it with, like, I think 2, maybe 3 people max.
Right.
I don't think you'd want to play it with a whole bunch, because if people were talking, you'd be like, shut up, I gotta play it again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it was neat to try those. I think there's 4 in the series right now, and you can get them, like, anywhere, almost, I think. But, yeah, so those were 2 that I played.
Nice.
But... let's get to our top 9.
Yeah.
What is your number 9?
My number 9. That's funny. We were just before we started, I was like, do you think we have any crossover? And we think maybe 1, maybe 2. But probably not much more than that. So my number 9 is Coup by Ricky Chata. That was published in 2012. This is one that we play regularly. Yeah. With the kids. Like, they just love it. There's like, so they'll play up to 6. What's interesting with this one is everybody gets 2 cards, and you keep them face down, and you look at your card, and depending on who you are, what your abilities are. One of them gives you the ability to collect more coins on your turn. One of them is like your the Contessa, or like there's different roles, and you just each roles do different things. So then on your turn, you'll be like, wait, well, I'm gonna collect 3 coins because I'm the Duke. And then I look at my cards. Well, I have 1 Duke. There's more than 1 Duke in the game. I think there's like 2 or 3. It's like, are you though? Like, so you could you could be like, I don't think you are the Duke. Or, but like, are you going, because if you're contested, say, okay, I don't think you are, then they would have to reveal that they are in fact a Duke. Now, if they're not the Duke, then they lose that card. But if they are the Duke, you lose one of your own card, and you only have the 2. And it's kind of a last man standing game, right? So you kind of start going around eliminating, because eventually as you collect coins, if you have enough coins, you'll murder other characters. And then they can't really stop it. There's the assassin, but if you have like the Contessa can stop the assassin. But if you don't have an assassin, you're not going to, but then there is where you do the coup, and then so then they can't avoid that one. They've destroyed one of your characters. So it's kind of interesting. But it's just like, are you though? You know what? I'm pretty sure you're lying. But I only have 1 card left, so I'm not going to do anything about it. So, so it's really interesting. And then playing with the game, with the kids. I think Nick is undefeated at this one still. But it's just an interesting one. It's like, okay, I don't think you are. It's like, and now it's like, okay, I'm just like, okay, last round you said you were the Duke. The time before that you said you were the assassin, and now you're the Contessa. Like, really? Like, one of those is wrong. Like, so you can't completely lie. It's just kind of like, I'm the Duke, collect 3 coins, and it's like, okay. We all collected 3 coins, so that's 5 dukes. There isn't 5 dukes in the game, like, or so it's just interesting. It plays real quick, 50 minutes, of course, so that's our list. It plays super quick, so it's normally one that we'll do multiple rounds in a row, but it would be an easy one to just do, like, okay, we got a little bit of time before, like, let's just do a quick round. And it has no setup, like, it's just 2 cards and then you have the coin, so it's easy to get playing. So that's my number 9, Coup.
Nice. I've played Avalon, which is just the second version of this.
Yeah, right? I have Avalon, but I haven't played it yet. Yeah. So
I think it's the exact same, only different characters or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I just thought of another one that would have been perfect for our number 9, and it's called Number 9.
Oh, I didn't ever play Number 9. Yeah.
Have you ever played that?
No, I've seen it. It looks interesting, but I have no idea how it plays.
It's hard, but anyway, my number 9 is Tsuro, made in 2005 by Tom Murchie. Now, this one plays from 2 to 8 people, which I've never played at the higher player count. Yeah, I still think it would play under 15 because you'd just be knocked out that much earlier. So what you are doing is you are building this board, basically, but you all start with these pawns on the outside of the board, and you play a tile, and then you're going to move your little pawn around the tile wherever you've connected it to. And then somebody else will play a tile down and move theirs. Now, eventually they will start running into each other. You just want to be able to stay on the board longer than anybody else. And you are trying to also connect it so that somebody has to, because as soon as you connect the tile and it's like somebody is in that line, they have to move through that line. So if you can get them to get knocked off the board, all the better, because that's more room for you to move. It's such a simple concept, but the tiles are neat. I've only played it with 2, maybe 3 people. Still fun, but it's just such a neat way to play a game when you literally lay out the board and then you stack the tiles and you just go and you put your tiles down, and it's fun to see how you can move your thing around because they're all like squiggly lines, and you really have to think when you see because I think you get 2 tiles, you have to figure out which one to play, and sometimes you're screwed and the only way to play it is to knock yourself off the board. So it's a fun kind of, whimsical game, but that's my number 9, Tsuro.
Yeah, that's a good one. My number 8 might be my most played game on my list. When I first got introduced to this one, we played it nonstop for a week, every day. And that's Bang the Dice Game. So Bang the Dice Game was created in 2013 by Michael Palm and Lucas Zach. And this is just a clever game. So you have a card that's handed out that you're going to have your identity. Everybody keeps that one secret unless you're the sheriff. The sheriff reveals who they are. And that kind of totally guides us to what your goal is. If you're a deputy, your goal is to help the sheriff and you're going to try to kill the outlaws and the renegade. If you're an outlaw, your goal is to take down the sheriff and the deputy. If you're the renegade, your goal is to be the last man standing. So you're just trying to be... So you're going to fake being an outlaw or being a deputy so kind of keep the sheriff's like, I have no idea who my deputy is, until like all of a sudden it starts shooting you. He's like, well, you're not a deputy. But it's just a neat game. So then, and then you also have like this extra character that have like a special ability, which you could play without if you wanted to make it a little bit faster, more streamlined. But then it's a Yahtzee battle game. You roll the dice, and then you have up to 3 rolls, depending on what you roll, what you can do. Like if it has a target with a 1 inside, you get to shoot one person 1 space away, either to your right or to your left. If it has a 2, then you're going to shoot one person 1 time 2 space away to your right or 2 space away to your left. And then you're kind of rolling after 3 rolls, and what you got, say, okay, well, I shot you once, I shot you twice, and then I got a beer mug. And the beer mug is your health. So if you take a beer mug, you can replenish your health, which are bullets. So you would collect more bullets. You can also, it's like, okay, well, I'm concerned because the sheriff is not doing too great health-wise, so here's a beer mug for you, because I'm your deputy, wink, wink. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, right? Like, so you can kind of try to act like you are, but... And then there's the arrow, so if you roll an arrow, you have to take an arrow. which doesn't do anything until the last arrow from the middle of the table has been taken. So then however many arrows you have, you take that many hits and put them back in the middle, and then the arrows gets distributed again if you roll an arrow. It's just such a neat game. We played it at one time we played at Christmas at Lee's my parents. And I had bought a few games, and we started with Bang the Dice Game, and we didn't play anything else. We just played like a dozen games of Bang the Dice Game. They loved it. It was just like, okay, again. Okay, one more time. It was like, okay, let's play some more. And then it was just neat. It's just, and I find like that will happen with Bang, mostly when you introduce like, okay, I think I got it now. Like I played it with my cousins that first time, and then my cousin's boyfriend's next to me, and then he's like, hey, I'm not sure what's going on. And then all of a sudden, like, he shot the sheriff. I'm like, oh, okay. And then so I was like, well, it's figured out. And then, like, everybody shoots him or whatever. He's like, oh, I don't think I did that right. And he shows me his card. He's the deputy. But he's just like, why are you shooting the sheriff then? And he's like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. So, but it's just such a neat, fun game. That's my number 8, Bang the Dice Game.
I really like the fact too that, I mean, it's not like you just go around picking on someone. It's you need to play your role. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna shoot. Like you really are doing it for a purpose. So you can't just like, I mean, you know, my son would just gang up on my husband or something, but he would have to do it for a reason. So I like that. I don't get to play this ever. I want to play it. I have it.
Oh, it's fun. I love it.
I just because the expansion adds the ghost something where the
like
first person who dies
gets
to come back. I can't remember what he does, but
I don't have that one. But yeah, I hear good things about the expansion.
Yeah, and then there's a duel. Did you ever play the duel?
Yeah, no, I saw that there's Bang the Dice Game Duel, so it's like a 2-player version. I want to play it. Yeah. I just don't. You know what? I broke like 670 board games, and yet my wish list just keeps growing.
I know.
It's like,
I keep making more games.
At some point, I should be like, I have all the games I need. Yes. I don't know what that number is going to be, but...
Never. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, my number 8 is No Thanks, and this is by Thurston Gimier, made in 2004. This is another a large player count, 3 to 7. This one, we used to play camping all the time with the kids, and I still love it. Haven't played it for a while, but I just love the game. I've played it on Boardgame Arena. Play it tons on there. And all you do is you have this small deck of cards. I feel like it goes 1 or 2 to 37, maybe. And you take out 7 cards, maybe it depends on player count, and you put them aside and you don't use those. So there's cards in the deck that you don't know are missing. And then all you do is you flip a card. You decide if you want to take that card or pass. If you pass, you will put a chip on it. Now, if it's a high number, you would, at the beginning, probably want to pass because you don't want to start with a high card because the whole point of the game is to have as little points as possible. So you start with a certain number of chips depending on player count. And so if you don't want it, then you will put a chip down, then it goes to the next player. If they want the card, they'll take it and the chip, or they'll put another chip on it. It can go around and around, and everyone just keeps putting chips on it until finally there's 20 chips. And you're like, well, I'll take the card because I got 20 chips. Because the chips will come off the amount that your cards are. So those are positive points kind of thing. And you just go around until all the cards are played. And the thing is, if I have grabbed cards, say I grabbed a 12, 13, 14, 15, I only count my lowest card as long as it's in a chain. But if I had a 12, 14, 16, 19, well, I'd have to add all those up. So you are hoping to get these cards that will fit in between some of your chains that you have. But remember, there's cards that are out of the deck. You don't know which ones are missing. So it's a push your luck game. But it's just funny because you'll go around and put chips on. Finally, there's 10 chips on a card, and you can see, somebody wants that card. You're like, you're just being a jerk. You're just trying to make us all put chips on. And then someone will just take it out of spite, but it doesn't help them. So it's just a funny game, but it's such an easy concept too. And that's my number 8. No Thanks.
No Thanks is so good. Yeah. Mine is kind of like It's not a big box, but it's a bigger box. I've seen it where it's like in a small card box. It'd be easier to travel with. But yeah, it's
But those
just one
chips,
that goes.
and I have the small one, and the chips are like the old bingo chips.
Yeah, I have
chips.
like a medium-sized box, and then the chips are like
The black
rounded
shiny
black. Like they're really neat looking chips. Yeah,
I love the feel of those chips.
You know, sometimes like the components will just like, I don't think it'll break a game, but it'll definitely make a game. Be like, ooh, sure. That's the one with the really neat chips. Okay, I'm buying that.
So, here's the old one.
Yeah. Oh, they really are the tiny little bingo. Yeah.
Look how thin the deck is. There's like barely any cards in the deck.
That's tiny. Because the one I have, like, it's almost big tarot cards almost, and like they're bigger cards. But it's it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I found the bigger one at a thrift store, so I'm like, oh yeah.
Done. Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. My number 7 is a game that you introduced me to. And that's Birds of a Feather, Western North America. It was published in 2022 by Teal Fristo. This one is just such a neat game. It's such a simple concept game. Although the first time it's like, I have no idea what you're trying to tell me to do. But you'll just kind of like randomly, everybody draws a card, or not even draw a card. You pick a card and you put it face down, and then we all reveal it at the same time. And if you have any location match, because you'll have different cards for each location. One will be like a 1 egg symbol, a 1 feather symbol, 2, 3 feather symbol. Then you have like a 1 wing and a 2 wing and the claw. But they're all like at the forest location. So, or, you know, so you have like the forest location. You'll have like the sea location. You'll have the swamp locations. There's just different locations. So if I flip one and it's like, okay, well, this is a forest location. Oh, I see that Carla also played the forest location. Well, then I get to check off my card that I've got my card, but I get to check off the card that Carla played because it matches the location. Now, if the other 2 cards did match the location, okay, I don't get to do that, but maybe they match, and it's like the sea locations, and there's 2 sea locations, 2 forest location. I've already counted the forest location. You know, I'm playing a sea card next to be able to try to get the sea cards, because the card you play goes in the middle, and you play the next one. Then those are removed, and your current card goes in the middle and you play the next one. So you cannot constantly push to the middle and remove what was already there and then kind of add cards. And you're just trying to match the location so you can count the cards. Some cards are going to be worth 1 point. Some are worth 2 points. If you have the whole set, you get a bonus 3 points. But if somebody plays the claw, or like it's the hawk or something, it'll chase away...
The raptor,
Yeah, the raptor. So it'll chase away the other birds that are in the middle from that location. So it's like, okay, great. There's 2 ocean cards. I've already claimed the forest card. I'm playing an ocean card, so I can go and claim that. But Carla played it too and chased all those other birds, so I don't get to claim those ones. Yeah. It's like, oh, are you kidding? So goodbye, 2 feather. Goodbye, 2 wings. But at least I would get to claim Carla's raptor card. So I would kind of check that off. But it's just such a neat concept. Super simple game. At Melcon, we started with this one, but it's like, okay, again. It's like we played it a couple of times. So so good. My number 7, Birds of a Feather, Western North America. So I'm assuming there's like an original Bird of a Feather. I'm assuming it plays the same.
It's quite older. Not sure if it plays the same. I feel like it does, but they remade this one. And
Right.
All right, my number 7 is Point Salad, made in 2019 by Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, and Sean Stankovich. This one is also a 2 to 6 player count, and the one you just listed, I think, goes up to 7. So far, these are like all kind of large player counts, which is really neat to play in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
This one is a card game, and you just have fruits and veggies, and you have them in a grid. I think it's a 3x3, and all you do is choose 2 cards. Or from the top, you will choose, because they're flipped on the other side, which is the goals on them. And then 6 of them are flipped over, and you just have the veggies or fruits. So you can either choose 2 veggies or fruits or one of the goal cards. And you're basically just making your own scoring game. So you can choose a scoring card and then next time choose fruits and veggies, because the scoring card might say all your carrots are worth 2 points, so you're going to try and collect all the carrots. Or you might have one that has 3 different types on and they're all worth a different point value. There's different ways to go about it. You can start off by getting like 5-point cards and then going for the veggies, or you just get a whole bunch of veggies and then get the point cards. But if you get the point cards first, somebody else knows what you're going for, and then they're going to be like, well, I'm just going to take all those. But the nice thing is at the end of your turn, you can always flip one of your scoring cards over to its veggie side, veggie or fruit side. Mm-hmm. So if some of them are worth negative and you're kind of stuck with all those, you can flip that one back over. It's another really simple concept game, but plays so fast, even with the high player count. I have played it with a high player count, and you just have less cards, so you'll have a lower score, but with less people, you'll have more cards. You do take some out with less people, but still plays so fast, and it's awesome. I love it. And there's a new one coming out called Point City. Yeah. And I think it's a little bit vamped up a little bit more complicated, but this one was awesome, so I'm looking forward to that one. But that's my number 7, Point Salad.
My number 6 is Point Salad. So same as Carla. This one was published in 2019. I'm not sure if she mentioned that already. Created by Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, and Sean Stankiewicz. I mean, it is good. It is so neat. It's so simple. It's a super simple game because you got your 3 stack, you got the 2 flipped over, you take 2 vegetables, depending on which location you point, then that gold card would flip over, become a vegetable, or you take the gold point. But what's interesting is the gold points will have, some will give you positive points, some will give you negative points. So be like, okay, great, I like tomatoes, I like carrots, I don't like lettuce. So you're trying to not collect lettuce, you're trying to collect the other ones, but then you'll have other cards. So you're trying to get goals that'll work with each other. So it's like, great, carrots give me 1 point here, and they give me 3 points there. And if I match them up with the peppers, then I get more points over here. So you're trying to create combos so that you can kind of score the same vegetable multiple times. We played this one regularly, fairly often. I played it with Patrick. Well, it was like the whole family, but Patrick played it collecting only carrots. He wouldn't collect any vegetables, just carrots, and he won picking just carrots at Point Salad. It was ridiculous. I was like, what? And he's like, nope, just carrots. But he had collected so many goals where carrots were worth, like, I think each carrot gave him like 8 points, and he had like almost all the carrots. We played this one time.
You guys all let him?
We weren't trying. We were trying to stop him, but
you let him have all the carrots. That's funny.
Oh yeah, it just worked out that way. We're like, okay, I'll take this one, then a carrot would flip over. So it's like, well, but yeah, I played this one with Patrick once, and we forgot to take the cards out. Had a 2-player game. Yeah, it was kind of like, why is there so many cards? Like, so yeah. Oh yeah, whoops. But yeah, no, this is great. I am excited for Point City. So that was our first crossover, Point Salad.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. My number 6 is Lucky Numbers. This is made in 2012 by Michael Schott. Made it... I might have said that wrong. It's a 2 to 4 player game. Now this one is literally, could be a 5-minute game. It's so fast. You all have these boards in front of you with these grids, empty spaces on them. Mm-hmm. And you pull these chips from the middle. You all have a set of chips from 1 to 20. So if there's 2 players, you would grab 2 sets, and then you shuffle them all up and flip them over, and you'll all grab 4 of them. And you have to place them all diagonal from the top left to the bottom. And then the whole point of what you're doing is you're just trying to arrange all these numbers so that they go from highest to lowest, left to right. So, and how I mean that is like a 1 could be on the top left and then a 10 in the far right. But underneath, you could have a 2 under that 1, but you couldn't have another 2. Like, so you have to go lowest to highest, left to right, and up to down. Doesn't matter diagonal. Okay. But so you might start out with your diagonal. You might have a 10, a 2, a 1, and a 5, and then you got to get those off your board. So you'll pull a tile, and you'll put it on your board or exchange it with one you have. So say I pulled a 20, well, I would like that in my bottom right corner. But if there's something there, I will take that tile off and it'll go in the middle face up and anybody else can grab it. It's really easy rules. That's it. That's all you have to know about it. But it sounds really easy too, but once you kind of get your board maneuvered to how you want it, the diagonal, then you're limited to what you can put on your board. It's really fun, and it's on BGA. It's a totally easy one to try on there because it's like a 5-minute game. This was remade though. I have it circled on 2012 because there was another version of it, and it was like, I'm going to look it up right after this. It was really old. So I haven't seen what that looked like, but I'm going to have to look. But it's a one you've got to try because I know you would like it. I feel like you would really like this game.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of this one before.
Oh, really? I think this was my most played last year. I might not have put it on my most played list because a lot of it was on BGA.
Right.
But I do have the actual board. Next time we game, I'll bring it because we can play a game in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. And that's my number 6. Lucky numbers.
Perfect. My number 5 is a little, 5 and 4 is probably a bit of a cheat because, it plays in 15 minutes. Chances are you're playing more than one round. So it probably would be more than 15 minutes, but to do one round of this game is 15 minutes. And that is Magic Maze, published in 2017 from Casper Lab. And this one is interesting. Like when it was first explained to me, it's like, oh, this game is so good. So in this game, you don't talk. My sister was with me. Both of us were like, yeah, we're out. Says, no, it's really good. It's like, no, we talk. We don't not talk. So it's the French in us. But it's interesting because you have this, you don't have this board. There's no board to begin with. You start with a tile. There's 4 characters on the tile. You don't play as one of the characters. You play as one of the directions. So maybe I play moving north and going up escalators. Because you're building this, you're going through the mall. You're 4 characters that just kind of went on a dungeon quest and it didn't go well. And we lost all the weapons and all of our money. So we go to the mall and we got to find the store that sells our weapon of choice each so that we can steal it and get out before they call security. Because we have no money. We have to go back to the dungeon to get more gold or something. So that's kind of like the idea behind it. But you start off, everybody gets a card that tells you what direction you move. Okay, I go north, I go up escalators. Carla goes east, somebody else goes south, and so on. Okay, perfect. And then one person is also the person who will bring out new tiles. So you have to get your guy to a doorway, and then the person who brings out new tile will bring up the new tile. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to go up the escalator. Carla needs to move us east. Okay, and then I'm going to move us north. And now we're at the doorway. So then the other person needs to bring up the new tile. The other person might not be noticing that we're at a doorway. But you can't talk. You can't be like, hey, Steve, I'm at a door. No, it's just like, you just kind of like stare at him. Like, I need you to do something right now. You can
stick that thing in front of him.
Or there's this big red token. Like this, like you're just a big red thing that you can put in front of you. It's like, I need you to do something right now. And Steve could be like, what? And he's looking at I don't know what you want me to do. Like, but you can't have this conversation. You're just like, I need you to do something. And then it's like, and you're like, it's like, or like somebody's trying to concentrate on another aspect. It's like, well, I'm trying to get this character over here because that's the mall he's supposed to be in. It's like, yeah, but the timer's about to run out of time because there's a timer as well. You can't have this conversation, but there are spots on these tiles that has like flip the timer icon. So there might be like, keep sending the guy over trying to get him to his mall, and he's staring at me like, Melanie, you need to go north, and I'm like, I'm not going north. We need to go east to flip the timer. Like, but you can't have these conversations. It is hilarious. And then it's like starts with the first level, which is fairly simple. Then you go to the next level, and then the next level, and each level introduces a new slight difficulty to it. Like one of them is every time, I can't remember, but we flip the tile so our location or the movement we control changes. It's like, oh, great, now I'm not going north and up escalators anymore. Yeah. I flip the tile and go east, but maybe I forget, so I'm not flipping the tiles, but I'm supposed to. Oh yeah, that's me, right? Oh, sorry. Because it is neat, it is hectic, it is exciting. It's fun. Like, it can be frustrating if you're one of those person who gets flustered and you're like, hey, quit slamming that red thing in my face. I have no idea what you want me to do. Like, but as a player, me and my sister had played with my sister-in-law, and she remembered she goes up and down the escalator. She forgot she goes east.
Oh, shit.
And we kept putting the thing, so she's moving the thing up and down the escalator. She's like, I don't know what you want me to do. So, we never made it past the first level with her. We played that first level 3 times. But we laughed so hard. So she's getting frustrated. I don't think she will ever play this game again. But me and my sister had such a blast because we're laughing so hard because she has no idea what she's trying to do. And my brother is in the room not playing, and he's taunting her. Oh, geez, Janet, what do they want you to do? How come you just keep doing the same thing? Oh my God, it was good. It was so much fun. We laughed so hard. She probably never play the game again. This is just a neat, chaotic game. But my number 5, Magic Maze.
Have you ever played this with Michael?
No, I don't think I have.
You have to play with him. Oh my God, we played at Godfest.
Yeah.
And was there 6 of us? And he stands up and he's like, we start playing, and then as soon as you break for the next game, he'll go, okay, you need to get this, we need to get up here, we need to move those tiles there, this, go. And then we go, whoa, what did you just tell us to do? And then we're done that one. Literally has his speech, go.
Yeah.
He takes it so serious. Oh, it was so funny. Yeah. We were just like, me and Ashley
I could see him being like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. But it added so much. It was funny. You have to try it with him.
Yeah.
All right. I do love that game. I forgot to even put that on my list of this. Like, I didn't even think of that one for 15 because we always play like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, one game is only 15. Okay, my number 5 is Fantasy Realms, made in 2017 by Bruce Glasgow, and this is a 2 to 5 player. I don't know if you've played this one yet, but yeah, I just love this game. I got to play in a tournament at Godfest, got my fill of it there. I think I played 5 or 6 games. It was so fun. But you start with a hand of cards, and you will end up with that same amount. But what you're trying to do is get your best combo hand. And the game will end as soon as there are 10 or 12 cards out. I think it depends on player count that are face up. So how you do that, you start with none face up, and on your turn you will pick up a card and then lay down a card. So you can either pick up from the deck, or if there are some face up, you can pick up from there. So picking the face up ones will lengthen the game because you are just trading a card instead of adding one. How you are trying to combo your cards is you have to read each card, basically. Some of them are like armies, and they want to have a bunch of armies together. Some want leaders, and some are weather, that like storm, floods, and things like that. And then some cards don't want other cards, so they could be negative if you have those. So you have to be careful what you're collecting and what you're comboing, because some can really hurt other cards, where some can be very helpful. It's just a big game of combinations, and it's just so satisfying when you can get some really, really big numbers, like big points. Sometimes you just, there's a bit of luck, because if you never pull cards that will go together, then it may happen, but you'll always get some kind of combination. It plays really fast. There's a 2-player version of it that you can play with the main game, and it works really well too. It's just played a little bit differently, but it's so neat. It's a fantasy theme, which isn't typically my theme. If they rethemed it, they could totally sell this to more people, I feel like, because it could reach more different likes, but I still love it, even with the fantasy theme. And the newer version is the art is quite beautiful in it. It's really neat. It does have a little expansion, which you don't really need. It's not a necessary thing. It adds a little bit to it, but just the base game alone is awesome. And that's my number 5, Fantasy Realms.
That is a good one. Yeah, I bought it probably last summer, and then kind of played it a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago. But it was like, it's neat. And then I had played Red Rising before playing this, and I was like, this is like Red Rising. Because Red Rising has that one mechanism where you're playing cards, you're discarding cards onto the board, and you're like, depending on what you put in your hand, how it'll affect your score at the end. It's like, this is a good combination to have. But like, so yeah, Fantasy Realm is just that mechanism pure. Like, it's neat. Nice.
And Jamie Stegmaier, like, who did develop Red Rising, he blatantly said, I have taken the mechanism from Fantasy Realms. He loves Fantasy Realms. Mm-hmm. He's played it lots. He even has like a promo pack of it, I think, in his Roll and Write game. I'm just blanking on the game now, but
Rolling Realms.
Yes, Rolling Realms. He has all his games in there. Mm-hmm. And then some of his favorite games like Terra Mystica is in there as well. And he has promo packs for those. But
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. My number 4 is like my previous one, Magic Maze. It's one of those that chances are you're going to play more than just the once, but the one round will play 50 minutes. You could play it just once. And that's Escape the Curse of the Temple. This was published in 2012 by Christian Abinson Otsby. This is neat. So you got to play, it comes with the CD. Yeah. I don't have a CD anymore.
The music on there.
You find the YouTube. I want to verify if they have an app yet that would kind of have that, but there's a YouTube that you can play the audio from, and the audio plays for 15 minutes. So you all start in the middle, and there's a tile on either, on like up, down, and side, and you need to go out in this temple, and in order to move into a tile, there's a symbol on it, so you need to roll all your dice. Once you get the symbol, you can move your guy over there. And then you roll certain symbol to bring in a new tile. Okay, great, I can put in a new tile, put it here. And then so you're forming this maze as you're playing. You're going around, rolling the dice to get into the different areas. You're looking for the areas that have the gems on it. And when you get there, if you are able to roll the necessary, and then they'll kind of have different levels. So if you reach this first level, you get to put 2 gems. But if you reach the second level, you get to put 3 gems on it. But if you reach the 4th level, you get to put 4 gems on it. All these gems are sitting at the path out. You can't exit with all the gems in the way, so you got to assign them to these other locations. Now, sometimes it's like, okay, great, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 dice. Let's say 5. I have 5 dice. To get the 3rd level, I need 6 dice. So then you need somebody else to come in the same room as you, and you guys can roll dice together, trying to get the necessary symbol to open. And you just free for all, roll the dice as much as you can. It's messed up. My sister will roll her dice to the floor all the time. We give her dice ring, she still did, like, because she gets so into it that she's like chucks them. I don't know, but. And if they roll to the table, they're gone. Or like if they're on the floor, they're gone. But then some of the dice symbols are black symbol, and then they're locked. So you got to keep rolling in the hopes to roll a golden symbol, which will unlock up to 2 other dice. So okay, great. So you're rolling. It's like, darn it, I have all blacks. I'm stuck. Somebody come and save me. So somebody needs to come into your room, roll a gold dice so that you can unlock some of your dice to try to get yourself unlocked enough that you can keep going in this thing. Then halfway through, there's a gong. And it's like, dong. And you have like 10 seconds to make it back into the middle to safety, or otherwise you lose some of your dice. So you're like, oh shoot, gotta go. I'm so far away. It's like, and then it'll kind of like after the 10, and then the music goes faster. Like, so you're like, oh shoot. And then it's like the music's going super fast and you're rolling your dice and you're not getting out. It's like, oh, I'm locked. And then finally there's like 3 gongs. And if you didn't make it to safety, you've lost some dice. So it's like, oh my God, like, your heart gets going. And you build the game as you play, and you're trying to find all these locations so you can assign the gems so that you can find the exit, and then so that there's not too many gems in the way, because you got to roll so many symbols for the amount of gems that are blocking your path. So if you roll more symbol than the gems, then you can get out, but it's impossible in the beginning because there's too many gems in the way. It is neat. It is very exciting. I got the big box version that has like all those different expansions that kind of adds. I've never played past the first base game because it's hard enough with base, let alone start adding. Because like one of them had like these different tiles that after the gong, those location goes away. So you have to kind of rebuild the temple as well. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, we're not getting out as it is. Like, so it's very much like Magic Maze in a way, but it like that in the feel that it creates, but it's not as in this is a dice chucker. You're just rolling the dice. You don't check. You can re-roll anything you want except if it's a black dice, just to get the symbols you need. It's like, oh darn it, I re-rolled that. That was the symbol I needed. Okay, re-roll. It's like, it's hectic. It's neat. It's such a good game. That's my number 4. Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Yeah, that one's really good. I like it. All right, my number 4 is Qwantum, made in 2018 by Stefan Klob, Anna Opolzer, and Reinhard Stope. This one is a 2 to 4 player game. It's just a dice game, just a tiny little roll and write. It's in like the Quicks series. Oh, okay. The Quicks, Quinto, and then Qwantum, I think was the third. I don't think they're all the same designers, but it's kind of a line of just little tiny roll and writes. This one is my favorite of the 3. And how you play this one is you have a hand of dice that you roll, and then you clump them all into colors. So they all have numbers on them, but there's like 5 different colors, I think. So you'll put them all in colors, and then you're going to choose one of the groups, the roller, and then everybody else will choose another group. The other people can choose the same group, but they can't choose the group that I chose. Oh. So you have to add up all the same colors, and then you will put that on your player board. Now with this one, you have to write down your numbers from left to right. And you have to go from low to high, but then in kind of the middle of the board, there's like circles on each line. And then, so you'll go from low to high, but from there on, you go back down. So you have to make sure you've like got, a 4, 7, 8, 10, and then you go back down. So you would really like that circle number to be as high as possible, and then go down from there, because you'll score at the bottom of the column your second lowest number. So you don't want to have really low numbers, because then you'll have really low score down there. But you don't want them too high, because you can't get, you might not roll all the dice in one color to get a real high number in those circles. It's really tricky, and you kind of have to plan for it, but it's neat because then as a roller, you always have to choose something. I think the people not rolling don't have to choose. But if there's a roll that's there and you can't choose anything, you have to put an X out in one of these X'd out spots, and that gives you negative points at the end. You play until somebody has filled the board, and that is usually not nearly all at the same time. Somebody could have their board complete and you're literally missing like 6 spots. And so you will not be scoring. If you have not finished a column, you'll get nothing for those columns. So this can really be like, an up and down game where someone just kind of runs away with it if they're just getting good lucky rolls or choosing the right combination of dice. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love this little roll, right? And that's my number 4, Qwantum.
Nice. I haven't played any of that series yet, so we'll have to put that. Yeah. My number 3 is our second crossover, and that's Tsuro. The Game of the Path. So it's created in 2005. It's also the oldest one in my list, by Tom McMurtry. And it is, like you said, it's just so neat. You're adding these tiles. You have this little stone that follows the path. And you're trying to add tiles so that you don't fall off the board or run into another stone, because then you eliminate each other. And you're playing all these tiles. And then at one point, it's like, okay, the tiles, like, it's getting really busy here. I could play this and you follow the path. Nope, that sends me over there. Okay, I play that. Nope, that sends me over there. Okay, what about if I pivot it this way? Oh, then I slam into you, and then we both die, and then she wins. Or,
then you both die.
So it's like, okay, hold on, and you're looking at like, okay, I could do this, and then I loop, and then I'm over here. Okay, so how's like it's interesting. It's a very simple game. It's a neat game. Like it's because you're like, okay, what am I gonna do? And it looks neat. Like those little stones you have has like the phoenix engraved in it or something, and it's just a really good looking game. So that's my number 3, Tsuro.
Well, I have our third crossover.
Oh,
my number 3 is Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
And I don't even own this game. I played it so much. I don't even know if we played at the cafe or just with friends that had the game from the cafe, and we played it quite a bit. But does this game get my heart racing? I keep having or putting into my cart the zombie version of it.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And I just haven't pulled the plug yet. But I think I'm going to have to do it because I feel like it's going to be the same, only just with a different theme. And I mean, I really like the Escape the Curse of the Temple theme, but I would like to see how the zombie one is played. But I just love this game. That's my number 3, Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Very nice. My number 2 is one I've talked about before, and the only time I've played this one was with Michael, and that could add to the whole experience because I don't own this one yet, and that's Railpass. It's created in 2019 by Rev Tom Green, and this one is like everybody has 2 trains in front of them. They're 2 little wooden trains. There's like spot that you can put cubes on it, and then there's a spot that you can put a little peg on it. That's your conductor. And you play as a player. So maybe I'm the yellow player. So I have on my cardboard the rail track, and then I have my 2 trains on them. One's a long one, one's a shorter one. And then on the top of that, I have the cargo, and I'll have a bunch of cubes, but not any cubes from my own color. They're all different colored cubes, and everybody who's playing has a different station of a different color. So I'm yellow, the person could be black, maybe this person is blue, and then we have a red over there, and there's a like all the different colors. And the goal is within 50 minutes you need to try and get these cubes delivered to the station of the correct colors. So any yellow cubes that makes it to my station gets unloaded on my station. Now, the trick is, first of all, the conductor cannot go more than 2 stations away from you because he doesn't want to travel too far from home. So he can go to your station, he can go to the station on either side, and I think if he goes further, then he quits. So you lose your conductor. Now, any conductor can go anywhere, but they just can't go too far. So you got to keep that in mind. So maybe the train goes over to the next thing and they're about to change up. Got to change the conductor, but I think it's 2 spaces, so it might be a little bit further. Second thing you need to keep in mind is a train cannot handle itself. So you can never let go of it. If it's on the station, you can let go. It's not going. But if you're sending it off to the person to your right or the person to your left, because there's certain path that you can go. Maybe there's a tunnel and you can actually send it to the person across from you as well. So, but then there's like different things where you can create blocks. Like, okay, great. Well, the person to my left is blocked to me, so I can't send that way. I can send to the right, or I can send straight across, but I need to get him something, so I got to send it straight across so that it'll rope around back to him. And when you're unloading the cargo, you can only take from one end or the other. It's like, so you can't be like, oh, I need to send yellow, go grab the yellows in the middle. You got to have to send the cargo until you get to the ones in the middle. And then, so you got the train. If you ever let go of the train, that train is gone. It's crashed, and you toss the cargo and the train in the middle. It's gone. So you hold on to the train, and then you push it to the person to your right, and you say, choo-choo, or make some sort of train noise so they know this train is here, and I need you to hold on to it so I can let go and go do other things with my other train. And then they're doing their own thing, and maybe they're unloading a train. Oh, okay, and then they grab your train so you can let go now. And they bring it in. Oh, but they'll have 2 trains in their station, so they can't bring that train in. So they need to send another train out. Okay, well, let me load this train and I'll send it here. Choo-choo! So now they got 2 trains in each hand and they can't let go and do anything else until somebody takes one of those trains. But this guy is way too busy. It's like, okay, I'm gonna need to send this back to you. Choo-choo! And it's like, so that I can go. It is good. It is so good. Not everybody likes that kind of game. It's a nerve-wracking game. And then at the end of the timer, you kind of tally up all the cargo that made it to the correct station, and you get to count that as a score. And depending on what you score as a team, how you kind of rank, it's kind of like, yeah, this was horrible. I've never, ever played it where all the cargo got delivered. And sometimes you get like these little 3D structure has like a bridge, so you have to physically go on the bridge just to make things a little bit more awkward. Choo-choo! Okay, I'm on the bridge. Like it's ridiculous. It's so neat. I need this game. I want it. And that's my number 2, Railpass.
Do they still make this one? Like, or is
I hope so.
Used?
I hope so. It was published in 2019, so it's not like it's a really old one. It should be. No, yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was older. Okay.
No.
Cool. Awesome. All right. My number 2 is a 2-player game, which is the only one I think on my list here. Yep. And that is Botanik, made in 2021 by Frank Critton, Gregory Largy, and Sebastian Pouchon. This one, it gives me a feel of Lost Cities. And not just the 2-player part of it, but it's a tile layer. And what you do is in the middle is this little board that has 4 tiles on it. And on either side of the tile are 4 spots. So I have 4 spots and you would have 4 spots. There's stacks of tiles over here, and you will choose a tile and you will place it on the board. Now, it has to go on the board. It can't be the same as anything else. So it can't be the same color as the one you're placing it in front of. It can't be the same shape. So what these tiles are they're machine parts. It's like a steampunk theme, and you are building this machine that grows flowers and plants, or food plants, I think it is. And then there's these little steampunk people also that could be on the tile. So what you do is, like I said, you have to place it on your side,